Hello, friends. It's Chapo. Devoting themselves to Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well, that's just it. That's why I think they're all going to end up following the lead of Andrew Tate, one of the founding guys.
Yes.
They're all going to become Muslims. It is
right.
inevitable.
Yeah.
They should. The ones who do it earlier, they're the smarter ones, or the more febrile ones. But eventually, everyone's going to figure out that's the only live traditional culture that you can be part of. Christianity is decadence. Christianity is the West. Yeah. It is seed oil. It is fucking microplastics. You cannot preserve it.
Yeah, they're gonna want like women to wear the veil eventually. I think like these guys like Andrew Dream Johnson. I don't know if you're familiar with this guy, but he like calls himself like the president of the manosphere. And he was like a pickup guy who would just have a room full of guys, and he would be talking to you about how like, you know, women are deceitful and shit like that. And all of his videos are like, oh, are you fucking triggered that like I made a whole conference called like Make Women Great Again and I only invited guys? Like, does that trigger you? And now he has to sit down and interview guys who are in traditional marriages that they like started dating the girl at like 14 and be like, wow, it's so admirable or whatever. So everyone has to kind of like walk this weird tightrope and pretend in the same way that they pretend that like Trump is actually alpha. Like Elliott Hulse was literally like, the problem with Trump, for all of you, you know, liberal crybabies, is that he's your daddy. He's your fucking father, and you are denying that he has like alpha daddy energy or whatever. But that's just because he triggers the people they don't like, right? So it's like, oh, yeah, that's actually really alpha because I got people really angry at me who have blue hair or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think frankly, I think this will probably happen to Andrew Tate as well, you know, is that the truth is the reality of any organized religion will be disappointing to them because, you know, organized religion is essentially about kind of like collective kind of worship, good works. You know, they're heavily focused on community work, usually in charity. I mean, all of that stuff is just like so beta, right? It's so not what
Jesus
they're hoping
Christ,
for.
Jesus Christ himself, you know, he went out like a total bish.
Yeah.
None of his friends jumped out. He just fucking,
As Jesus Christ said.
He just walked up to that fucking cross, and he was just, oh, the Father, take this cup from my lips.
Yeah, Jesus turned back to the cross and was like, hold me back, bro, hold me back.
Yeah, his whole speech, he's like, blessed are the beaters, blessed are the blue pills. Like,
yeah, literally the betas will inherit the earth, man.
Yeah.
Like, also, Jesus said
also, died at 33, never getting top. Never.
He got zero pussy. There are rumors that he had some pickup.
Yeah, he had a side piece, they say.
Yeah. read the Da Vinci
Gospels and
Code for more Christ-like pickup artistry.
All
right.
Yeah, I did agree with Annie though. I think they're going to be Islam washouts.
Oh, no,
really
they can't hack it. I mean, it's all
No.
fake.
Yeah, no, they can't
Like,
hack
they're all
any of
trying to
them.
reproduce this culture that they're only bystanders to because they've been fully soyified. That they're refusing to be dialectical again. They're trying to claim some extinct or alien structure that they can't reproduce in their social lives because they don't have social lives, which means it'll end up disappointing them and be cast out for something else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Elliott Hulse is in as I said, a trad marriage. He met the girl at 14, and he's only ever been with one person. And yet his advice to like married men who don't anymore is like, walk by your wife and just grab her by the pussy. Literally, just grab her tits. And then if she doesn't react, just keep walking. It'll be mysterious. She'll love it.
Okay.
And if she reacts negatively, that's good. Lean in and be like, you're the kind of woman I want to penetrate. Literally, these are like what he's proposing to like spice up your marriage. So it's like, in what world does like a tradcath marriage involve convincing the woman that you're like a dangerous beast in the home? You know, that's you could do anything. Like, you're so fucking volatile.
Okay, now let's segue into like the next rather large category of interest for the manosphere, and that's in relationships. And like I said, like there's a weird metamorphosis going on here. From it is the role of the man to conquer and dominate women and be as promiscuous as possible, towards like the more this stuff sort of curdles and metastasizes, the more they reject. I'm not going to say like they're embracing queerness, but the more they like reject heterosexuality like as a concept, or like the idea that it is desirable to attract women and pursue intimate relationships with them. This seems to be a big shift that is going on. Do you guys notice this as well?
Elliott Hulse has turned on Andrew Tate because he claims that getting that much pussy basically makes you a feminist. That like by being obsessed with getting pussy.
You know, that was
Think
true.
about how many.
Like,
Think
these
about all the
guys-
jobs Andrew Tate give women.
I will give this. Get out of the home. That's not good. Into his home. Not good. But I will actually defend this guy. This is actual trad shit because in the Middle Ages, an effeminate man was a man who got too much pussy, who spent too much time around his wife and around his mistresses and shit.
Yeah.
It meant you were a little fruity cake. Why weren't you with the boys? Why weren't you hawking? Why weren't you hunting? Why weren't you drinking giant steins of beer and having a fucking brass band play 3 inches from your face?
Yeah,
Why weren't you watching a jester suck his own dick?
Like Will Blunderfield says that like the most masculine, like they have completed the full circle because like Blunderfield will say that the most masculine thing you can do that will actually make you more attractive to women is getting your prostate massaged by another man's penis. Literally,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If your homie fucks you in the ass, women will like be so fucking attracted to your magnetic
Wait,
power afterwards.
Julian, is this like the sort of the bald yogi guy who talks about his
Yes.
Celtic ancestor? Okay, like
Yeah.
there's a great video of that guy where he was just like, yeah, like I was just with my brothers, we were in bed filling our mushroom roots together.
Yeah.
And like this is just what my Celtic ancestors used to do. Before battle, they would often suck each other's nipples. And I was like,
Yes.
bro, my Celtic ancestors were sucking each other's cocks before they got to battle. What's holding you back?
Well, he's gotten there, you know, like he
Okay,
was
so
kind
he's
of inching
he's worked
way.
his way up. So yeah, okay, he's worked his way up to that.
I think the funniest detail of that specific video is that he's talking about holding his bro's mushroom while they're watching Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
These guys all want to be Alexander the Great.
Yeah, they want to be like Louis the 14th, where you get to pick like a bunch of people who go to bed with you that night from like who's pleased you that day in the court, and then you can get venereal diseases from like 6 or 7 people around you or whatever. Because that's the ultimate delight, right? It's the freedom to both get your prostate massaged by your bros and also be an alpha in your everyday life. At the end of the day, like if you're an individual disconnected from any kind of culture and you have to forge your own identity out there, like, the more the merrier, like, you want to try everything before you get to Catholicism. You want to like, there's nothing that isn't included in like the plate of experiences that you can then form your identity from or whatever, right? You don't want to give up any of the snacks. You want to try them all.
Yeah, and we at ManClan would recommend that. We recommend
I think
exploring
so.
your options, totally.
Yeah, you want to pick a candy bar, every single candy bar in the 7-Eleven and try them all, and you'll become more manly.
I was just like this is a random aside, but I was just thinking back to like the intro to the Tucker Carlson movie, and it was really funny because he was just talking about how like chemicals in our food and water supply have led to grotesque genital abnormalities like smaller penises.
Yeah.
And then he goes on to like, it's basically like half of it is talking to RFK Jr. and the other half is like stock footage from like 1950s like physical fitness catalogs of like Charles Atlas muscle men. And he was just like,
Yes.
just to be clear, this is not gay. And in fact,
Yeah.
we're already being accused of being gay because, they don't want to they want to undermine the message. But I mean, I guess like it's surprising to me that the American right has taken this long to develop their own sort of He-Man cult of masculinity. Because the thing is, like, they've always sold that, but the people selling it were heretofore like bow tie persnickety types like George Will or like fat slobs like Jonah Goldberg, But like now with these like, I don't know, like raw piss nationalists, like, these are cut hunks. These are cut studs who are, like they look like what they're selling.
And they won't give it away. This is a package that's just for the boys. Like you don't give your masculine energy away. You want to nut up your spine into your chakras. You don't want to actually give out any of your sperm. So like keeping your cum in, but still jacking off is actually the best way to go, basically.
So it's like edging.
Yeah.
Like this used to be
and
about
that's-
how to ejaculate. But now ejaculation of any kind is strictly verboten.
Well, the problem is that everything feels bad. If you jack off too much, you feel bad. If you get too much pussy, it feels bad. If you're getting no pussy, it feels bad. In fact, it turns out it feels bad no matter fucking what. So they always have to invent some fucking new way to be like, actually, the latest thing I found, the latest book I read or whatever, the latest thing I came upon on my path to like becoming the coolest individual that you should learn from online is actually really interesting and cool. But they're going to get bored of that too. I mean, I think that's the problem, right? We're all just like going through the different experiences and realizing like none of these are actually fixing the kind of like feeling that there's something missing, that there's a hole where like the kind of culture that used to keep us together was. And I do think we need to like figure out a message for that and kind of admit that, you know, maybe it's not great that like the most political power we have is like to change the cape color on like the superhero or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess like in terms of where this is all going, I mean, I think like go back to what we were talking about at the beginning, as Matt said. I mean, I saw there was like an article by Ezra Klein the other day, and he was like, a vote for the GOP in the midterms, like what they're promising is just more crisis. And, you know, like the Democrats offer an alternative to that. But Matt, your point was like, it's not a stable situation in which only it is like the piss drinking nationalists who are acknowledging that we are a society in a number of different crises. And you can't just say, oh, like, like corporate America has been poisoning you and killing you and destroying your life just unfettered now going on 30 to 50 years and shows no sign of slowing down. And the response to that can't simply be, no, they're not, or actually you're not sad.
Yeah, everything's
or
fine.
Actually, like
you've been looking at Russian websites again.
Yeah.
It's all just how we process it, right? Those are the choices left to us.
Yeah. Because it's like the crisis didn't go away when Brandon became president. Yes, he promised stability. Did he fucking deliver it?
Well, Brandon doesn't have crisis mindset, so that's the important thing.
Yeah, that's all that matters. And it's, again, these guys, they want a soothing image on their television. They want to think that somebody is in charge who understands things aren't that bad. They don't want people running around waving the fucking, banging pots and pans together and saying, hey, it is that fucking bad.
Well, that's it. It's like you're in palliative care. You don't want to be reminded you're in palliative care. You want to change the fucking channel so it's a more soothing channel or whatever. But Matt, I think you are right that like, yeah, it is a kind of process of like picking who is going to be on the TV during your palliative care or whatever.
You're right.
Instead of any kind of project that might, show the kind of solidarity that could topple a movement, slonking raw eggs with your bros is actually going to make you feel better while, the inevitable happens.
Well, yeah, and then they do have a few. There is a pathetic, like the raw egg nationalist in that video is the guy who's like, "Oh, fuck off, go sell something else." Because at least these other guys, it's like, hey, maybe it is good to not do seed oils. Maybe testicular tanning is good for you. I don't fucking know. I'm not a doctor. But this guy goes, "Oh, the individual is strong, and then the nation is strong." Oh, okay, yeah, some fucking political multi-level marketing scheme.
Yeah, the globalists don't want you to know about eggs.
Yeah,
That was.
And the idea that you should go back to like Vince Gironda, like the kind of predecessor of this guy is a bodybuilder who called Arnold Schwarzenegger fat, basically.
I can't believe that.
Oh, he's a pig. Schwarzenegger's a pig.
nasty pig. But his whole thing, like the kind of guy who they're trying to model like this idea of like the masculine body that's supposed to represent the nation in our new like fascist utopia was just a bodybuilder. He wasn't even like a strength guy. He was just like, you go to the judges, you kind of preen in front of them, you do the different poses, and they rate you, right? So it's all kind of like weird aesthetic shit and honestly kind of soy cuck shit.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's because this particular branch of, I guess, like reactionary masculinism is like, it very much came from bodybuilding forums. Like, I don't know, it was a kind of strange evolution, but incels also kind of, or like incel culture often like comes from bodybuilding forums as well, because it's like guys who are like, what the fuck, I did all of this and I still don't have a girlfriend, and get furious. But there's also this kind of, I guess because so much of those bodybuilding forums were guys who were going in it motivated like that to pick up women, they became this kind of a really interesting sort of style of, I guess, anti-feminism. There's like one kind of slightly infamous post on the bodybuilding forum, which like has like 500 replies or something, where it's like a guy who's just like, does anyone else just like not find women's bodies attractive anymore? They're kind of just like actually a bit like disgusting. Yeah, and he's like, and don't you kind of think like, he's like, they're kind of like too soft and like too curvy. It's all like reminding me of like nature and stuff, whereas like, they're like hard masculine lines of a man's body now. Now we're talking, that's just more objectively more beautiful, right?